All right, wonderful. Davina, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you on.
Yeah, thank you. It's really great to meet you and be here today.
So, to get us started, tell me your name, your title, and the company you work for.
So my name is Davina Kaonohi, and the company is Element Apothec. I'm the CEO and one of three co-founders.
What brought you to starting Element Apothec?
It was quite an interesting journey. I've actually been around cannabis my whole life. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. I have baby pictures with his cannabis plants and always knew that this plant really helped him be able to live life. He would say without it that he didn't know really how he could often sleep or walk out of the house. So I was fortunate to have an early upbringing around it. But move forward to today, I had a great aunt who was quite sick and diagnosed with, I think, 8 autoimmune diseases. It was about 10 years ago. One of my sisters followed in my dad's footsteps and also grew cannabis, but was starting to explore with high CBD strains. So she reached out to my great aunt and said, "Hey, have you thought about using cannabis to help you?" And she was reluctant, but said, "Sure, it's low THC, right?" And so that made her feel comfortable. But also, not only did she have these autoimmune diseases, but she became allergic to the medicines the doctors prescribed, as well as a personal care, body care product. So they were causing her a lot of harm, her skin issues and more pain, and exacerbating her autoimmune diseases. So her prognosis wasn't good because she couldn't take the medication, but also she couldn't even use products that you would buy at the store. It wasn't like today where there's so many more clean, personal care products.
Yeah.
So she started researching plant-based medicine and making her own oils and using coconut oil and different butters and how could she just help even take care of herself on a day-to-day basis. She
Mhm.
didn't really think that the CBD cannabis would help her much, but we know that it would help a lot. And so she little by little started mixing it in her drinks and started learning about tinctures and using this RSO variation of this oil she was making to add into everything now that she started using for herself.
Mhm.
And she started to feel better and getting out of bed more, and people took notice and they would say, "Hey, wait, you're feeling better. I'm having this issue, or I need some help with sleeping better, or my skin's not great." And so she started creating all of these products for people, almost becoming like a local apothecary nurse almost per se to people. And so that led her to creating the products, which is the base formulations of what we then turned into Element Apothec.
That is quite the origin story. I love that it's family oriented, but I love that you were able to change your great aunt's mind about this, go from saying, well, cannabis can't help me, it has no benefit, to it being the thing that really spurred a recovery.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite amazing, and it's funny because she would tell me the conversation she would have with her doctors, and they're like, "We don't know if we support this, but just keep doing what you're doing."
Yeah, I've heard that before from doctors regarding cannabis, unfortunately. So you grew up around cannabis that gives you a little bit more of an inherent comfortability around the plant. But when did you start to differentiate between THC and CBD?
It was several years ago. Like I said, one of my sisters followed in my dad's footsteps and grew, and I also would help her. She also was working with the seed bank and doing some interesting stuff with genetics. And so at that point, was fortunate, I guess, to kind of start understanding and learning the difference of some of the cannabinoids and the ratios and the plants that people were growing at the time. And that spurred my interest into reading a little bit about it. There wasn't as much information there, hardly anything, but kind of saw where the market was going and maybe an entryway for people to get into this space that didn't also want the high euphoria feeling or, the stigmas that they might say of getting high when they smoke THC.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So how long has Element Apothec been around now?
And so we launched our products just a little over a year ago, the sales, but it was about 3 years ago that she came to me and said, these were her exact words. I feel like I was given a gift and I want that to carry on and I want my products to go from the kitchen to the world is what she said. And I'm trusting you to do that if you want to take this path. So we brought on a team of medical advisors because what I also understood is I'm not an expert in this space and I'm asking people to put stuff on their body and in their body. And we probably should think about having some medical oversight in doing that and making that decision. So we brought on Dr. Swathi, who's our other co-founder. She's an integrative pharmacist, and Dr. Marvin Singh, who's our chief medical advisor, and said, okay, we have these amazing formulations. We brought in an integrative dermatologist, and so we started working on reformulating the initial formulations. What other cannabinoids could we use, since we were moving with broad spectrum, since we're taking out the THC, what else could we complement it? But we wanted it accessible, which is why we went with broad spectrum. So people that have fear of THC still, we could help bring them into the industry. And then, there's other products they can continue with us, or at some point move to other products, or we expand our product as well. And so we went through that process. We also did a lot of work like becoming a pending B Corp and getting cruelty free with Leaping Bunny and all of these things, because we also wanted the consumer to feel comfortable when we launched our products and feel like they could trust us, that we weren't just saying these things, but that we really did do the work to have medical oversight and trustworthiness built into our products. So that took a while, longer than we thought. And launching a brand takes way longer than you think, with manufacturing and packaging. And we ran into manufacturing issues even because they either wanted us to use their white labeled products, they didn't want to deal with our complicated formulations that we had, or they wanted us to use just the standard preservatives. And we said, no, we're only using plant-based ingredients, and we don't want to use any of these ingredients that are banned in Europe or Canada or Japan. It's like 1,800 ingredients that are banned in those countries that we can use here in personal care products, which is just fascinating, but also disappointing that that's the case. So we said, no, we don't want to, and we do plan to grow internationally at some point. So we also need to abide by higher standards and what are required here. So that took a lot longer than we anticipated, but for a good reason, because I think when we launched, we feel comfortable that we're coming out with the best products that we could, and building in qualities of trustworthiness for the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in the cannabis industry, these things really seem to go a lot slower than you would initially hope they would. So looking at the cannabis, the CBD industry right now, what's something that you see that you're really excited about?
And there's so many things. I'm really excited just about the continued growth in this space. I also see so many people supporting each other, which I think is just an incredible thing, especially in women supporting each other, and people that I've now been so fortunate to meet in this space that are so willing to help and provide contacts and share their experiences. So that, I think, is great. It's not the case with everyone, and I've seen lots of posts on LinkedIn and heard different stories where that's not the case, but I think there's enough people moving in the right direction. Also, the education and research that's coming out about other cannabinoids and how, and different clinical studies, because I think in order for us to move mainstream, those are the things that are going to have to happen to break this deep stigma that exists in people still about what this plant actually is and how it can help people. And then just the variation of products that's coming out, from beverages to including it in food, and people looking at other ingredients like adaptogens and other ingredients that can complement it. So, I mean, the whole industry as a whole, I'm just so excited to be part of, and excited about where it's evolving into.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely second the education and research. I think the clinical trials that are starting right now, some of the results that we're starting to see, I mean, there's never been a more exciting time to be involved in cannabis.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
So on the opposite end of the spectrum, what's something that you see in the industry that you're not a fan of?
Like I said, on the opposite side, if there's a lot of support, I still think that there's a lot of people that are maybe not in it for the right reasons. And also, I mean, it is tough being a woman in this space,
Mhm.
because I mean, I came from e-commerce technology, and it was the case there too. There's just not a lot of female presence, and I think that's changing. But I think it's still a difficult place to be. And how do we help bring more equality and diversity within this space, because there's not a lot of variation in the people that you see in this industry right now. But I think, as it evolves and we all support each other, I think that starts to change the landscape also. Obviously, the
Yeah.
regulatory compliance and difficulties with marketing and banking,
Mhm.
and all those things that make it so challenging for all of us. But really, I mean, it's all of that. But really, I think the inclusivity of the space and changing that landscape is where I think I feel like it needs to change more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you brought up the point about pushing for equity and diversity and inclusion in the industry. So I'm going to ask you, what are you guys doing at Element Apothec to further that?
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at our team as we grew and ensuring that, that it doesn't matter what you look like, right? It's just the skill that you bring to the table, and being inclusive of everyone that we welcome into the brand. It goes beyond that. Even thinking about our packaging and design was very intentional in terms of being non-gender specific. I have a sister that's transgender. She's the one that grew, and when she first transitioned, it was really tough for her in the cannabis space to get accepted. She was actually kind of separated from one of the companies she was working with because of that. And so for us, even thinking about how we translate our products so that it feels like it could be for anybody was something that we put a lot of effort into thinking about that, because I think a lot of products are very gender specific in this space.
Mhm.
So it's from product to also from our team, and then looking at things that we could do better in terms of what other organizations can we support. We're at that point now where we're growing and we're like, okay, we have some additional money that we want to allocate, and so we're thinking about what groups and how we can support that, and partnering with different organizations to do different in-kind donations and supporting different events and things like that.
Yeah, I love that you brought up having non-gender specific packaging because I think when you get into the self-care, the beauty space, it's almost completely divided by gender when you look at the marketing. And cannabis and skincare is not gender specific. Everybody needs moisturizer. Everybody needs good ingredients.
Yeah, yeah. I was just speaking to somebody the other day, and he loves our face serum, and he says, it's been unfortunate that that I want to share that I love your face serum, and I get bad comments about it from people, and I
Mhm.
said every guy deserves to be beautiful too. I mean, whether it's using concealer for acne or wearing lipstick, like who it doesn't matter whatever everybody wants to look like. We should just become more inclusive as a society, because why doesn't someone deserve to look in the mirror and look good and feel good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, men deserve to feel beautiful too. And a huge part of that is how are you taking care of your skin? What, if any, products are you using?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So being a retail business, you've talked about your packaging and designing that to be gender inclusive. How did sustainability factor into the choices you made for your packaging?
Yeah, it was also everything. So there were certain pillars that we started with as a company, and that was trustworthiness, transparency, sustainability, inclusion, and diversity. And so the sustainability was a key component as well. And thinking about how do we even source our ingredients that are sustainable, and looking at eco-cert ingredients, and then down to the packaging. So I think a lot of companies look at packaging and they say they're sustainable, but it goes beyond that. It even goes with organizations that you partner with in terms of what
Mhm.
are their sustainability goals and what are they doing to better serve things. We're even looking at a shipping company now that's carbon neutral and using some creative ways to ship. But it went through, our packaging, looking at cardboard and glass. Our lotion tube is sugarcane ethanol, and obviously there's certain things that we're still looking at, like the tops on the tinctures, and we
Mhm.
haven't been able to be completely as sustainable as we want with some of those items, but we're moving as much as possible. I think it's a work in progress to get there, and then we support 1% for the planet, and really again trying to support organizations that can make a difference beyond what we're capable of doing also.
I love that. I think that the cannabis industry has such an incredible opportunity to have a positive impact on the world because there are so many people like you who get into this business and then they immediately look for those sustainable resources, the partners who focus on sustainability from the ground up from day one.
Yeah, it's such
Makes a big
important. I mean,
difference.
I love all the ESG stuff that's happening, and a company Regenibus that talks a lot about it, because I think, I mean, the cannabis plant itself is a means to help with sustainability and managing some of the environmental damage and impact that we have, and then thinking about the companies really supporting those ESG initiatives and strategies, and building that from day one. So it's
Mhm.
much harder when you're here to go back, but if you think about all of these brands and people launching now, we have this opportunity to really elevate the plant. And I also think that's going to help with more mainstream acceptance of the fact that this plant can not only help people feel better, but it can also have such incredible environmental impacts to improve, the damage that we've all done to this plant.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. I think what hemp can do for the soil, for the air is incredible. It just needs to be kept separate from the hemp that we put on our faces. So as you've been on this journey, started this company, what's something that you're really proud of?
Just to see our products out there, get an email from someone who had slept better last night because of your product. I just got a review from someone and she said, your product makes me feel like a goddess. I think this is what Cleopatra would use on her face. And to know that she's like, I have more comments about how nice my face looks. I don't even wear makeup now. I just put on lipstick and I leave the house. And to know that you can impact people or help people experience life just a little bit better is something I'm so proud of, and that we've held true to, what we started with. Like, we're not veering, no matter how easy it is to shift sometimes. Um, just to really trying to provide quality products, even if it means our growth is slower and there's more cost involved and things like that. So I'm proud of that. And I'm really proud of the team that we have been afforded to surround ourselves with. There's so many amazing people in this space that have offered to help or serve as advisors or opportunities. So I was at an event in Palm Springs last week at Hall of Flowers, and you walk in and there's all of these incredible people that and it just was such a proud moment to think I'm just happy to be in this space right now with these types of people that really care about the right things.
Agreed. Absolutely. So when a customer comes to you, they buy one of your products like the face serum, what do you want them to take away from an experience with you besides feeling like a goddess?
I mean, I think it's just the idea of just a better quality life, right? And you can't promise everything, but if our products can help make your skin feel a little bit better, look a little bit better, you sleep a little bit better, you have a little bit less aches, if we could just support um, our consumers to feel a little bit better every day, that's the experience that I hope that they get from using our products. And then just understanding and learning that you can rely on plant-based remedies to really help you, and that CBD and cannabis don't have to have these bad stigmas. It's great because people smell our face serum or our lotion. They're like, it doesn't smell like cannabis. I'm like, well, there's all these other ingredients that you can add to create products that and they're all helpful. It's not like you add them just there for
Yeah.
smell or scent, but it'll encourage people to use them more consistently, and that means that their life will be just a little bit better. That's what I hope from our products.
I love that. So as you guys are looking to next year to 2022, what's next?
Yeah, so we're really looking to expand into a B2B and retail, and getting in more dispensaries, and just being able to share our products with more people is what 2022 is a lot about, but also launching additional product lines, expanding our current ones, and then moving into some other variations of products that we think consumers will be able to use in different methods.
Awesome. So more growth.
Yes, lots more growth, definitely a lot more growth, a lot more marketing and expanding in sales, and just being out there. I also feel passionate about us really trying to support more of the organizations within the cannabis community to help drive education and drive ESG initiatives, and helping support the Last Prisoner Project and things like that as well, because I've seen it. My uncle was arrested. I was fearful of my dad getting arrested growing up. And also, have friends that continue to say, I can't believe that you're in the cannabis or CBD space. And we shouldn't have to have those types of conversations. It should be, you're in the wellness space and you're helping provide great quality products. So a lot of education is also ahead for us as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's going to be so key in the next couple of months, in the next couple of years, to really start to shift mainstream opinion. And I think the point you touched on earlier, the research on the minor cannabinoids, is going to be hugely beneficial for that.
Yeah, definitely.
This is awesome. So where can customers find you?
Yeah, so you can go on our website at elementapothec.com. That's mostly where you can find our products. We're expanding, as I said, this upcoming year into more dispensaries and retail locations. But you can go on our website and check out our products. We also just launched some really cool new introductory size products that you can get, so you can experience the products and then come back and get more.
Wonderful. I'll have to take a look at that for your face serum. I'm always looking for a good one.
Yeah, we have the CBD skincare essentials kit. I think it's $29.99 is our final price. It comes with a cute little makeup bag and a smaller size of the face serum as well as the lotion. The face serum lasts a long time anyway, so that small size could last someone almost a probably. But we're trying to do it at a price point where people can really experience CBD, because for some people sometimes it's, it's maybe a little bit more expensive, but if they see the
Mhm.
value and quality of it, then there's no reason to come back for more.
Yep, absolutely. Well, this has been wonderful. I really appreciate you sharing some time with me. And I have one more question for you.
Yes.
What is your favorite fun fact about cannabis?
Let's see, what's my favorite fun fact about cannabis? I mean, to me, I just love the entirety of the plant and all that is made up of it. All of these cannabinoids. I just think it's so fascinating. My mind just explodes thinking about the possibilities of what this plant can do for people, as we really do start to understand a lot of the minor cannabinoids and terpenes within the plant.
Yeah, absolutely. We really just scratched the surface of what this plant is capable of doing for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed getting to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you.